Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What is up, everyone? Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NCAA edition, already at week 11. Joining, as always, co-host Reese Downing. Reese, what's going on?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good. We're getting very close to the end of the season. I mean, Thanksgiving weekend's usually the last weekend of all the games for regular season, and then conference championships first week of December. So, I mean, we're really like 4 weeks away from most of college football being over, which is very sad. It's crazy.
You know what that means? That means that the season 2 of the Workman quizzes is coming soon. I'm going to have to get my research going.
Oh, yeah. As we guess D7 mascots from North Dakota and try to guess their conference name, which is even more fun. So I'm just going to kick it off with a little bit of news. Nebraska, they are adding former Houston and West Virginia head coach Dana Holgorsen to their coaching staff as an offensive consultant. It has been said that he'll work with the offensive staff in a role that will evolve as the season goes on. So Matt Rule bringing in a little bit of a creative mind on offense. I'm actually surprised he's even out of coaching. I mean, he's kind of been a big name in coaching. I mean, he was at Houston. He was at West Virginia. He's always been a high-powered offensive guy. And with Raiola there, I mean, maybe trying to get a spark going. NBC has announced that the Penn State whiteout game this weekend against Washington is going to be shown in IMAX. It's kind of an interesting thing. I checked out some of the theaters that were showing it. Unfortunately, there are none anywhere near here. It was a very, very select group of theaters. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a broader audience. And honestly, I mean, Washington is technically Big Ten, but a lot of the theaters were out west, so they weren't even in Big Ten area, really. So it's kind of disappointing to look at the theaters and see that, but I mean, it is cool. It's a cool thing to check out.
Especially now that we're finally getting a night game in Happy Valley.
It's the only one. Well, I think there was a rumor that maybe the Illinois game is going to be in a night game too. I still don't understand this. I tried to look up the details of this. I don't know if it's just Fox ruining college football or what it is with their big noon kickoff. I don't know. There's something specific in this that I haven't been able to figure out yet, but it's pretty awful. But speaking of the IMAX, have you seen any of the Cosm places?
Yeah, I think I've seen a clip of it. I think you're talking about like the one that I've seen was Texas Longhorns game where the bar that's set up makes it look like you're standing right there in the game. Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, Cosm is awesome, and they actually, I mean, I follow a lot of Detroit stuff, obviously, for the people that listen to the NFL show, being a Lions fan. They're getting ready to open a Cosm or build one in Detroit, but it's a very cool concept. I want to go check out one of these places. You're basically like, the screen is so gigantic that you're basically like, I don't know, it looks like you're just standing on the sidelines of the event. Like, it looks really cool. If you guys haven't checked those out, it's COSM. So just Google that and check it out. It looks like an awesome place. Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko has announced that running back Le'Veon Moss is out for the season. That's a crushing blow for them, especially coming off of a loss that they just had. Hopefully they can still salvage the season. Basically, it's going to come down to that game with Texas at this point. They're going to definitely have to win that one. Another injury, Oregon star receiver Tez Johnson. His shoulder injury is not considered to be season-ending. He is expected back later this year. It says no surgery is expected, but he did leave the game in a sling. So speaking of Fox ruining college football, they've picked the Utah-Colorado game for its big noon game on November 16th. Using some logic here, that means we've got a 10 a.m. kickoff in Boulder, Colorado for the Utah-Colorado game.
That's wonderful.
Why? Like, big noon, I mean, I know they had it as some big grand philosophy to compete with Game Day and compete with ESPN, but they're ruining some of the best atmospheres in college football with this shit that they're pulling with these schedules. And now to have Utah-Colorado could end up being a huge game. Colorado, I mean, their schedule, a lot of the teams that we thought they were going to be playing battles with haven't been as good. And Colorado, with their improved line play, has won some of these games. I mean, they are a legitimate chance at the Big 12 championship right now. And to play a game against Utah at 10 a.m. local time, like, I don't know. I think we need TV. Obviously, is ruining college football, not only with the college football playoff nonsense, but with the big noon kickoff and ruining the atmospheres. I just really wish we could get something figured out with stuff like this. I mean, there's a lot wrong with what's going on. Some gambling news. Best college football teams against the spread. Number one's probably not a shocker. We've talked about them pretty much all season. Indiana, they are 8-1 against the spread this year. Following right behind Indiana is BYU. BYU 7-1. Minnesota, the snake oil salesman, he's covering 7-1-1 this year, and Army 6-1-1. Eastern Michigan is a very surprising team to be on this list at 7-2, and then Tulane 7-2, and the pisser Vanderbilt 7-2. Billy Napier said quarterback DJ Lagway's hamstring injury is less significant than anticipated, and he doesn't even rule him out for this week against Texas. I was watching that game when he got hurt. I mean, they were beating Georgia at the time when he got hurt. And I mean, he went out on a cart. Like, it looked like it was like season ending. And the fact that he might play this week is pretty crazy to me. Even more crazy, Iowa has now scored 40 points 4 times this year. It's the first time since 2016 they've scored 40 points in 4 games. Also, the first time since 2011 they've scored 40 points in 3 straight home games. They've also played to the over in 8 of their 9 games this year, which that's a crazy stat in itself because their overs aren't 24 like they usually are. They're actually real numbers now. That is the most overs in college football. I spoke just a minute ago about Vanderbilt being 7-2 against the spread. Well, they've also beat Alabama and Auburn in the same season for the first time since 1955. I know today we are having some elections going on, and I know that this is not something we can vote on, but the pisser should be the governor of Alabama. I mean, he has officially defeated them in every way, and Hugh Freeze has to hate seeing him. When he was at New Mexico State in 2022, they went and played Liberty, beat Liberty 49-14. 2023, they went to Auburn. New Mexico State beat Auburn 31-10. He goes to Vandy, plays Auburn 17-7. 3 straight years the pisser has beat Hugh Freeze. He's got to be just absolutely sick of seeing that man. It was kind of a crazy weekend. Number 3, number 10, number 11 are actually both number 11s. There was a dual number 11 last week. I forgot about that because they had co-votes. Iowa State and Clemson were both 11 last week. So number 3, number 10, 11, 11, 17, 18, and 24 all lost last week. So it was looking at the games last week, like going into it, not a lot of them were that eventful, but I mean, we got some crazy results. A lot of unexpected things happened.
Yeah, there's been a lot of parity this year.
Yeah, and I think the playoff's going to be insane because I look at it and I think Oregon is the best team in college football right now, but I still don't think they're capable of beating a good team 3 weeks in a row. So I don't know. So it's going to be the playoffs are going to be crazy. So last week's results: San Diego State 24, Boise 56, Oregon 38, Michigan 17, Florida 20, Georgia 34, Ohio State 20, Penn State 13, Duke 31, Miami 53, and that game got out of hand late, but Duke was actually really in that game. They at the end of the third quarter, they almost had the lead.
Yeah, they were on upset alert there for a minute.
And I don't know if anyone saw the crowd here. I mean, it's not surprising, but at kickoff, this game looked like there were 2,000 people there. Number 8 team in the nation, and there was no one in this crowd. It was empty. Like, it was unbelievable. Kentucky 18, Tennessee 28, Texas A&M 20, South Carolina 44. We talked about that environment, and my God, that place was on fire. It was. No one wants to go there and play at night ever. That's not a good place to have to go.
Yeah, I happened to turn on the 4K feed that doesn't go to commercial.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I happened to flip over when they were playing Sandman, and then I looked at the score and I was like, "Holy shit! Like this is not good for. There's no way A&M's coming back from this."
No, and Sellers, he doesn't throw the ball. I mean, he just runs all over people. I mean, so not a lot you can do about it, really. Texas Tech 23, Iowa State 22, and what was a very good game. Unfortunate inning for Iowa State there. The weather was pretty shitty in that game, too. Louisville 33, Clemson 21, IU 47, Michigan State 10. Another Big 12. The Big 12 went crazy last week. I mean, we've talked about it all year, how it's a crazy conference, but Kansas State 19, Houston 24. Pitt 25, SMU 48, Ole Miss 63, Arkansas 31, Air Force 3, Army 20, and Minnesota 25, Illinois 17. So that wraps up the top 25 results. Both of us did miss our locks and dogs last week. I mean, it was a pretty crazy week. So next we're going to go, we have a breakdown of the bracket based on the current AP poll. Unfortunately, we record this a little early. The college football playoff actual first bracket is coming out tonight at 7:00. It is before 7:00 right now, so we can't use that yet. But just a little breakdown here of what we might see. So Oregon is the overall number 1 seed. Georgia is the 2. Miami is the 3. And BYU is the 4. To me, it's going to be interesting if Boise can end up getting ranked higher than that last group of 4. Boise's going to get a first-round bye. And that could make things really interesting, I think. But for now, the matchups, Indiana would be the 9 seed facing Tennessee, the 8 seed. That would be in Neyland Stadium. That would be an incredible atmosphere. Ohio State would be the 5 seed, Boise the 12. That game would be in Columbus. Notre Dame the 10, Penn State the 7. I would like to think that would be a night game. It'd be actually cool if they could do a whiteout for a playoff game. That would be awesome. Texas 6, Alabama 11. Which I've talked about this before. Texas's atmosphere sucks, so that actually is not a home field advantage to me. I think Bama will have just as many fans there. Well, probably not just as many, but I would say probably 30% of the crowd will be Alabama fans in that if that were to come true. Reese, you have any thoughts on these first-round matchups, just as the AP poll would put them right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the 2 games that I would look forward to the most would be here on the left side of the bracket. IU going to Neyland Stadium to play Tennessee, I think is going to be a really fun matchup. And I think it's distinct possibility that the SIGs stay lit going through that and then end up meeting Oregon in the second round, which would be a hell of a Big Ten matchup.
Well, that could also be the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah. So it could be
in Indiana, like in Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis, yeah. So that's a whole other thing to think about. I think there's a possibility the way that Ohio State's played the past couple of weeks, Boise State can give them some problems.
Definitely.
So that'll be an interesting game. Honestly, the Texas-Alabama game is the one that I am kind of least interested in just because it's 2 of the typical teams. But I kind of like the parity that we're seeing here, especially on the left side. Notre Dame, I mean, been fighting back since week 1, so they're back into the playoff picture here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not interested in Penn State Notre Dame. I almost would not even want to watch. Like that is the boringest shit to me. Like I don't know.
It's gonna be 6-0.
Yeah, that game doesn't interest me at all. I don't think either of those teams are good. I think they're benefiting from who they're playing. I don't know. I don't think either one of them are that good, to be honest. But yeah, IU Tennessee would be awesome. And what I'm really starting to wonder is it's because of schedule, just like I was talking about with Notre Dame. If IU loses to Ohio State and they go 11-1 and they don't make the Big Ten championship, I honestly don't know if they're getting in, even at 11-1, because their only game against anyone worth a damn is Ohio State, and they would lose. And I don't know, that kind of concerns me that they might not get in because of that. Yeah,
I mean, I guess if IU gives them an L, but still, even in that situation,
well, see,
I don't see any way that IU, Ohio State, and Oregon, all 3 are going to be in it.
Well, I think they can see. The thing is, I think Ohio State can win out and then lose to Oregon in the conference championship game. And I think you've got to put them in that aspect.
But if IU loses to Ohio State next week.
But I think that they're anticipating that an 11-1 IU team is going to get in. And I'm just not sure that's the case. Because we're looking at this right now. There's no Texas A&M on here. What if Texas A&M beats Texas? Like, I don't know if that just takes Texas out and puts Texas A&M there. I don't know. There's so much that's why I'm really interested in the real one tonight, because that'll kind of give you an idea as to who they're leaning towards kind of early. I mean, clearly it changes every week, but I think it'll give us a little bit of an indication as to what still needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think IU can lose if IU gets a loss, whether it's next week at Ohio State or they somehow get to the Big Ten championship and lose, I think they have to get through the Big Ten championship.
Well, see, I have some interesting thoughts on the ACC. I don't think Miami's going to go undefeated. And if Clemson, well, SMU right now is the other undefeated. I don't know. That might be where Boise jumps up and gets the bye. If BYU can win out, then maybe Boise would get that bye in the ACC. There'd only be one ACC team, and they would not get the bye.
Can you imagine a scenario where both BYU and Boise get a first round bye?
It would be awesome. Like that's
it would be awesome. I agree.
That's what college football should be. I mean, they deserve it. That's especially BYU. That Big 12 is. I mean, it's crazy. Like to go. I mean, they have the Holy War this week, and it's on the road at Rice Eccles. So, I mean, who the hell knows if they even survive this week? I mean, but yeah. I mean, just to look at these teams, though. I mean, it's kind of cool just to look at the bracket and see what can happen. It's unfortunate that this is the first year. I mean, I think we should have been playing this style for a while. I do think this needs to expand to a 16-team playoff to make it more legit, but this is what we have for now. So I like it. I like what it's looking like. Tennessee, Penn State, Ohio State, and Texas, though the atmosphere sucks. To think of 4 playoff games at those sites, that would be a hell of a way for the first year of the playoff. And then knowing that if you win, you get Oregon, Georgia, Miami, or BYU like that. Imagine a second round BYU Boise game. Like that would be the dream. That would be awesome.
I don't know. I almost hope that doesn't happen. Just be like, I hope they end up on opposite sides of the bracket, just in case something crazy happens, and they make it through.
Yeah, but that puts either Boise or BYU one game away from the national championship too, though. Like,
yeah,
you see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Could you imagine a BYU Oregon semifinal? That would be electric. The over under would be 90. Like that would be a one hell of a game. But we'll see how we'll have the real college football playoff next week. Depending on what time they release it next week, they're releasing it at different times each week, which doesn't make any sense to me. I'll take a look and see what time they release it. Maybe next week we can get something where we actually have the live bracket release.
Yeah, I mean, if it's at 7:00, maybe we can do the NFL pod first, and push the college, because typically, I mean, nobody knows this because we just record, but
right, we
typically record the college show first and then jump into NFL. So maybe we can flip flop it, and then that might end up landing us on a 7 p.m. time slot.
Yeah, because it would be nice to get the bracket.
They'll release it at 8 p.m. It'll be some.
Well, as soon as college basketball starts, they like to do that shit where they'll play a game at 7, and then at like the break of the 2 games, which is like 9:15, they'll release it between the 2 games, and it's like, why are we doing? Like, why? Just let us have the fucking bracket. Like, come on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this week. Week 11. So close to the end of the season, it's almost disgusting, but. As a Florida State fan, there's one part of me can't wait for the season to end because it's fucking horrendous. But we are going to kick it off with our favorite big noon kickoff on Fox. Purdue is going on the road to number 3 Ohio State. Ohio State is a 38-point favorite at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. 53.5 over under Saturday at noon on Fox.
Yeah, this spread is significant, but Notre Dame and Oregon have combined to beat Oregon 105-7. In their 2 games, and Purdue's defense is arguably the worst in the Big Ten, maybe Maryland, but they're definitely down there. I see this game potentially getting out of hand pretty quickly, so I'm going to go Buckeyes here to win and cover.
I'm actually going to take Purdue. That's a ton of points. Ohio State's kind of in a look-ahead spot, and they're coming off of a hell of a game last week too. I don't know if Purdue can score 10 points, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I just think 38 is too much for a conference game. So I am going to take Purdue. Number 4, Miami is an 11-point favorite going on the road to Georgia Tech at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 63.5 over under Saturday at noon on ESPN.
63.5 is crazy. Last year, this game ended in chaos with Miami fumbling instead of just kneeling to end the game, and it ended up costing them. I don't see that happening here, but Tech's also dealing with some injuries. We'll see if King and their middle linebacker, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, if those guys play. I'm assuming that Haynes King is not going to be 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Miami here to winning cover.
Yeah, a sleepy noon game on the road. Like, if Georgia Tech was healthy and had their quarterback, I would have a little bit more faith in them here. I think that they could sneakily even win this game, but I am going to take Miami just because of the situation. Florida is going on the road to number 5, Texas. Texas is a 21.5-point favorite at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. 47.5 over under Saturday at noon on ABC.
Yeah, Longhorns coming off the bye. You just talked about DJ Lagway may not be playing with a hamstring. A little surprising he's even questionable, to be honest with you. But this means third string walk-on Aiden Warner is probably going to be under center. Ewers hasn't looked that solid since before his injury, so that's a little concerning with this spread. Florida's also been keeping these games closer against tough opponents. I think Texas wins here, but I'm going to keep Florida within 3 scores, so I'm going to take Florida here plus the points.
Yeah, my thing is I can't trust the Lagway thing, and I don't think he's even gonna, like, even if he were, I don't know. To me, there's no way possible he can play in this game. So I'm taking Texas minus the 21.5. The freshman court or the walk on, he was all right against Georgia and what he was kind of thrown into, but they also didn't put too much on his plate. But I think in this game on the road at Texas, I don't think Texas is going to mess around on this one. Number 2, Georgia is a 2.5-point favorite going on the road to number 16, Ole Miss at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. 54.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on ABC.
Yeah, Ole Miss has got to get a W here to stay in playoff conversation. Dart has been the best quarterback in the SEC as of late. Beck's been a little turnover prone. Dogs are a tough out, but I had Ole Miss going through pretty deeply in my college football playoffs, so I'm going to stick with them here. I'm going to take the Rebels here, plus the points to get a win at home.
Yeah, I'm on Ole Miss also. Georgia just hasn't been that impressive to me. And if there's ever a year, I mean, we talk about all the time, like once they shit the bed, they shit the bed for Ole Miss. Things just seem a little different with Georgia this year. Like, I mean, I get you almost have to rank them number 2. I don't feel like they should be, but I think Ole Miss can easily win this game. I'm taking Ole Miss plus the points. Michigan is going on the road to number 8, Indiana. Indiana is a 14-point favorite at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. 48.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on CBS.
Yeah, IU in the Big Ten and Big Ten top 10, just insane, man. I love it. Not only has the Marlboro Man had this offense rolling, but their defense, especially against the rush, is great, which makes a good matchup here against Michigan. I'm lighting the sig here for a big W. Get him to 10-0, heading into the bye before what's likely the biggest game in the history of the school on November 23rd against Ohio State. But I am going to roll here with the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm taking IU also. Michigan's offense is atrocious, and IU, I mean, their offense is very fun. Like, I love what they do on offense, and I think they can score at will on Michigan, especially at home. This atmosphere is going to be awesome. Number 17, Iowa State is a 3-point favorite going on the road to Kansas. It is a neutral, well, not neutral, but it's Kansas's fake home field. They're playing at Arrowhead, GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City, Missouri, 49.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on the One for Fun.
Kansas coming off the bye week. Iowa State's looking to bounce back after their first loss of the season. I just don't trust the Jayhawks, and the spread seems favorable, so I'm going to go Cyclones here to win and cover.
Yeah, this is one of those games I'm like the least confident in because I feel like Kansas could win this game easily, but you would have to think that Iowa State loss maybe a wake-up call so they can try to stay alive for the Big 12 championship. So I'm going to take Iowa State also. Number 18, Army is a 5.5-point favorite going on the road to North Texas at DATCU Stadium. Oh, we got to give a guess on this one. Let's go Denton. Denton Area Teachers Credit Union. Let's call it that. In Denton, Texas, 63.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on ESPN2.
Army could be without Bryson Daly, which might change the trajectory of this matchup a little bit, but I am going to go Army to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm on Army also. I mean, they've been a little lackluster the last few weeks, but I don't think North Texas is that good either. I mean, I get it's a road game. The over-under kind of surprised me on this, too. I don't feel like there's any way in hell that this thing's getting to 63.5. I feel like this is an under bet, too. Moving on, number 19, Clemson is a 6.5-point favorite going on the road to Virginia Tech at Lane Stadium, Blacksburg, Virginia. 53.5 over-under Saturday at 3:30 on ESPN.
And Clemson coming off that pretty eye-opening loss to Louisville, looking to bounce back here. Virginia Tech is a tougher pick if they're going to be without Drones and Tootin again. Both of those guys were out in the Syracuse loss. I'm going to go Klubnik to have a little bit of a bounce-back game, so let's go Tigers here to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm on Clemson also. I wish this was a night game. I feel like at night I would probably be picking Vautech, but 3:30, not quite late enough yet for me. So I'm going to take Clemson to rebound and win. Number 21, Colorado is a 3.5-point favorite going on the road to Texas Tech at Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock, Texas. 62.5 over under Saturday at 4 on Fox.
Yeah, it should be a fun game here. Both of these teams have pretty high-powered passing attacks. I'd definitely be taking the over on this one. Morton's been playing pretty lights out for the Red Raiders, at home this season, but I think Colorado has enough of an edge on the talent to get the W here, so I'm going to pick the Buffs here to win and cover.
Yeah, Colorado away from home seems to be a different team to me, and Texas Tech just coming off of a good win, returning back home. I like them on the turf at home. I'm going to take Texas Tech plus 3.5. South Carolina is a 3.5-point favorite. Everyone doubts the pisser. I don't understand it. South Carolina is a 3.5-point favorite going on the road to number 24 Vandy at First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. 45.5 over under Saturday at 4:15 on the SEC Network.
Yeah, I know the Gamecocks just got a huge win over the Yell Leaders, but this spread's surprising to me. I'm taking Vandy and the pisser to cover, if not get the outright win.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to think this is an outright win for Vandy, but yeah, I'm definitely taking the plus 3.5. I feel like it's a letdown spot for South Carolina. They just had a huge win at home. I mean, now you're going on the road to a place that's going to have no crowd. The construction zone, they have the Pavia brothers in the crowd, and that's about it. And there's no one at these games. But yeah, 4:15 in Nashville, like, give me Vandy and the pisser. Maryland's going on the road to number 1 Oregon. Oregon's a 25-point favorite at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. 57.5 Saturday at 7 on the Big Ten Network. Maryland at Oregon.
That's so weird.
I know.
Yeah, Terp's coming off a bye week to prepare for this one, but the Ducks have been rolling, especially at home. So I'm going to go Oregon here to win and cover.
Yeah, I don't think Maryland's going to fare too well on this road trip. I think Oregon beats the absolute hell out of them. Mississippi State is going on the road to number 7 Tennessee. Tennessee's a 24-point favorite at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. 61.5 over under Saturday at 7 on ESPN.
Yeah, this is a decent matchup for Rocky Top. Mississippi State's rush defense is worse than the Dallas Cowboys, which is saying something. Night game in Knoxville gives it a little bit more juice for both teams. I'm just a little concerned about the spread here. I think Tennessee's going to get the W, but I'm going to take the 24 here in Mississippi State.
Yeah, this is one of those weeks I'm back on Tennessee. Like I said, they struggle against teams that can play really good D and have a little bit of offense. I don't think Mississippi State's that good at all, and I think they're really going to struggle in this environment. And Tennessee is trying to they've got to keep playing to keep these hopes alive. They still have an outside shot at SEC championship. They still have a shot at the playoffs. I think they need to come out and make a statement in this one. Florida State is going on the road to number 10 Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 26-point favorite at Notre Dame Stadium in Notre Dame, Indiana. 42.5 over under Saturday at 7:30 on WNBC.
Yeah, I can hear the excitement in your voice. Iris coming off the bye week to prepare in this one. Spread's a question because the Noles haven't lost by more than 26 all year. So can they keep it close enough?
Just wait.
I hate to do it to you, man, but I'm going to go Notre Dame.
Oh, I'm on Notre Dame too. You'd have to be something to bet on Florida State in this game. This has been a year of first time Mac Brown beat us in his whole life. The first time we lost to Duke in our whole life. We have the most horrendous offense I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm not even kidding. It is the most god-awful thing. The Indiana School of the Deaf and Blind could go out there and probably get more yards, to be honest. And it's atrocious what is going on. The thing that I don't understand here is the over-under of 42.5. Notre Dame's going to score probably 42 themselves. Maybe they think we don't get a half point, which I guess is probably the case, 42-0. But I think this flies over. Like, we have no hope of stopping them. So, Notre Dame for sure on the 26, and lock me in on a bonus lock on the over on this game of over 42.5. Basically, Notre Dame alone covering that. All right, we got a big one here. Number 11, Alabama is a 3-point favorite going on the road to number 14, LSU at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 58.5 over under Saturday at 7:30 on ABC.
Yeah, LSU historically plays pretty lights out, pardon the pun there, during night games under Brian Kelly. He's 13-0 leading the Tigers. Bama did have a bye week, though. Both the rushing attack and defense have done really well lately. It's a tough game for Bama, but I'm going to go with the Boar and the Tie to get the win here and cover in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Obviously, this is the one loser probably eliminates any hope of anything. Your conference and your playoff hopes are gone if you lose this game. I'm taking Bama minus the 3. I think Bama's going to be able to go into Baton Rouge at night and win this one. But this is going to be a great game to watch as I'm suffering through the Florida State Notre Dame game. Washington is going on the road to number 6 Penn State. Penn State is a 13-point favorite at Beaver Stadium in University Park, Pennsylvania. 46.5 over-under Saturday at 8 o'clock on the Peacock. We finally get a whiteout game, and they're like, here you go. Let's throw it on Peacock.
Yeah, throw it on Peacock and play against Washington. I wish this whiteout game would have happened last week. Frustrating loss for Penn State. Only fell a couple of spots. We finally get that night game. Let's go Nittany Lions to win and cover against the struggling Washington squad.
Yeah, I'm kind of back and forth on this one because, I mean, Penn State, I don't know, at the end of the game last week, they were doing the alma mater. Players were just like walking off the field. They were like, fuck this. We're not standing here for this. Walked off the field. James Franklin's getting into argument with fans as he leaves the field. They're giving him shit. And he's asking for their names. Like, I mean, what are you going to do with their name? Like, I couldn't quite figure that one out. But there's a lot of things going on in Penn State that I don't like. And Washington is quietly playing well the last few weeks. I'm going to take Penn State, but I absolutely hate this pick. Washington can win this game. Washington's actually on a little bit of I don't know. Penn State is not that good to me. I've been saying that all year. They finally played someone. They got beat. Now, they did keep it closer than I thought they would. And Drew Aller versus the Washington defense, I think, is the story of this game. If Aller can have a day, then I think they'll cover. But if Washington can stop him at all, I think they're in this game and it's live. Nevada is going on the road to number 12, Boise State. Boise State is a 24-point favorite at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. 60.5 over-under Saturday at 8 on Fox. Yeah,
this is going to be a perfect game for Jonte to go wild. Nevada squad's given up almost 200 a game on the ground. Broncos are 3-0 against the spread at home. They're averaging over 50 a game in each. Smurf turf, winning cover.
Yep, I'm on Boise also. Keep the playoff hope alive. And yeah, I want Genty to go nuts. I want him to get back in the Heisman frontrunner spot. Virginia is going on the road to number 23 Pitt. Pitt's a 7.5-point favorite at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 57.5 over-under Saturday at 8 on the ACC network.
Yeah, Cavaliers coming off a bye as well, but they've lost 3 straight. Pitt's been playing pretty well at home against conference opponents especially, so let's go Pitt here to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm on Pitt also. I didn't like SMU just absolutely murdered them last week. But returning home, Virginia was off to a little bit of a hot start, but their competition's been a little weak lately, and they haven't been performing as well. So you would have to think Pitt rebounds well here. Number 9, BYU is a 3.5-point favorite going on the road to Utah. It is the Holy War, Rice-Eccles Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah. 40.5 over-under Saturday at 10:15 on ESPN.
Yeah, I know Utah gets a little juice being here at home, but they're only averaging like 12 a game the past few weeks. Both these teams are coming off a bye. BYU is 7-1 against the spread so far this season. I'm going Storm and Mormons to get a big win in Salt Lake.
Yes, the Holy War will be won by the Mormons. I am all over BYU in this one. We've said it, like, this Utah team is not the same. Them playing at home this year does not mean anything. They are not good. Like, I'm honestly shocked that this is only 3.5. BYU's coming off of a bye too. Like, I don't know how this is 3.5. I'm not sure I understand, which does scare me. But to me, this is like a big bet. Like, you throw a lot of money on BYU.
It went down 0.5 point too. It was 4. It's dropped down to 3.5, which is
a lot of money is going on Utah, which is interesting. I don't get this. To me, this is like, this is one of my, it's a 10:15 Saturday night. Oh, here, let's make a big bet so we have something entertaining until 2 a.m. So this is a game. Like, I would throw a lot of money on BYU minus 3.5. I'm very confident in this one. And 40.5 over under seems kind of odd to me also. I think I don't know. Utah cannot score. So I guess that's where the 40.5 comes in. But to think it's only like a 23-20 game, or not even that, 2017, 21-18, something like that. Like, that's very low scoring. Like, I don't see how that's possible. Utah State is going on the road to number 20, Washington State. Washington State's a 20.5-point favorite at Gessa Field in Pullman, Washington. 69.5 over under. If there's nothing more entertaining than 10:30 at night, the Holy War and a 69.5 over under and it's on the CW. So be prepared. We've got some great things going on this Saturday night. Reese, what do you got for Utah State at Washington State?
Yeah, another game where both teams are coming off a bye week. Cougars are putting up points at home, and Utah State's defense is one of the worst in the nation. So I'm going Washington State here to win and cover.
Yeah, Pullman's very tough to play in to begin with. And Washington State quietly is getting in the picture. If Boise were to lose, Washington State might be that playoff team. So we have to keep that as a chance also. So if they can keep winning, and if Boise were to lose, I mean, never count out Washington State. They have a potential as being that last team in. But I am on Washington State minus 20.5. We will move over to the Muncie 6-pack. The first game is in about an hour and 12 minutes. And it is featuring our favorite Ball State Cardinals that we pick every week. So Miami of Ohio is a 12.5-point favorite going on the road to Ball State Schumann Stadium, Muncie, Indiana. 48.5 over-under tonight, Tuesday at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Yeah, Redhawks have looked decent as of late, but the Cards have won 2 of their last 3 at home. Defense is definitely going to have to step up. They've been struggling this season, but hopefully Simonza can connect with Kojal and Sloan enough to keep this close. So I'm going to go Cardinals plus the points.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm on Miami of Ohio minus the 12.5. I still think Ball State's defense is just not good. So I'm going to take Miami of Ohio. Yeah, right. I'm on Miami of Ohio minus 12.5. Iowa is a 5.5-point favorite going on the road to UCLA in the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. 44.5 over under Friday night at 9 p.m. on Fox.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for me. UCLA's bounced back a bit after a rough start to the season, but Iowa, like we just talked about, has been putting up a lot of points. They've got one of the best rushing attacks in the country. I think that poses a challenge for the Bruins, so I'm going to take Iowa here to win and cover.
Yeah, I was big on Iowa, and UCLA has performed much better recently. The thing is, this spread doesn't make sense to me. And to me, this is one of those Vegas knows something games. I know it's a Friday night road spot on the road, West Coast. Like, something doesn't seem right to me here. So I'm actually taking UCLA plus the points.
It's dropped the point too. So
yeah, there's something weird about this game. Minnesota is a 6-point favorite going on the road to Rutgers at Shea Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. 46.5 over under Saturday at noon on NBC.
I'm not sure what happened to Rutgers, but man, they've kind of fallen off a cliff. Minnesota continues playing solid defense and pushes the ground game. I think it should be a W. So I'm going to take the Golden Gophers here to win and cover.
Yeah, I think I mentioned, it was probably like 2 weeks ago, I said something about Schiano. Like, he built the team pretty well and like they played a good style, but I feel like his decisions have been terrible and that I actually said he should be fired. I can't believe in this Minnesota team either, though. That's part of my problem. Like, at home at Rutgers, noon, like, I'm going to give a shot here. I'm going to take Rutgers plus the 6. This is not a game I'm going to bet on in real life, but I will pick Rutgers plus the 6. I just feel like something has to give with this Minnesota team, and Minnesota really hasn't won too many games big either. Most things have been close when they have won, so I think Rutgers, even if they lose, should be able to keep it within 6. West Virginia is going on the road to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 4.5-point favorite at Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. 56.5 over under Saturday at noon on the One for Fun.
Yeah, I think Cincy's the better team in this one. They just need to get one more win to get bowl eligible. I'm going to go Cincinnati here to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go West Virginia on the road. I don't know if they're going to win. I think it's a close game. Kind of the same theory as the last game. I think they can keep it within 4.5. I'm not sure if they win the game, but I do like West Virginia to cover this one.
We're polar opposite in these first 4, so let's see if we keep the streak alive.
Navy is a 3-point favorite going on the road to USF, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. 57.5 over under Saturday at noon on ESPN2.
Navies have been sliding last couple of weeks. The Bulls have won 2 in a row. I think this is a bit of a toss-up game. I'm going to take USF and the points.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Navy in a rebound spot. So I'm on Navy minus the 3 in Ray J. UCF is going on the road to Arizona State. Arizona State's a 3-point favorite at Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. 55.5 over under Saturday at 7 on ESPN2.
Yeah, based on how we kind of both like Dilly, I think this may break the streak here. I know UCF broke their losing streak against Arizona last week, but I think it was a bit of a fluke. I like Dilly and the boys to get a win and cover here at home.
Yeah, the change of quarterback at UCF has seemed to really help. They've obviously been much better, but going on the road in Arizona State's still playing for something, so I like them to get the win and the cover. This game, if you'd have told us at the beginning of the year was going to be in the 6-pack, I don't think we would have ever assumed that. But Oklahoma is a 2.5-point favorite going on the road to Missouri. Memorial Stadium, Columbia, Missouri, 41.5 over-under Saturday at 7:45 on the SEC Network.
Yeah, Tigers coming off a bye. A little surprising to see them get blanked by Bama in the last game. I knew they were going to lose, but not putting up a point was a little surprising. I just don't trust this Sooners team, so I'm going to take Missouri to get a bounce-back win at home in a night game.
Yeah, both of these teams are kind of hard to trust right now. Oklahoma's made some changes. Missouri's had injury issues. I like Missouri at home. I'm going to take them plus the 2.5. All right, it is now time to hit our locks of the week. Reese, what's the lock?
My lock is Oregon over Maryland. Ducks should be able to handle an easy home win here against the struggling Terps team.
The Holy War, BYU minus 3.5 at Utah. I said earlier I was very, very confident in this game. I would throw a lot of money down on this game. This will be a fun one. And around 2 a.m, it's going to be good. I like BYU minus 3.5. All right, what's the dog?
Need these boys to get a big win. So my dog's Ole Miss over Georgia.
Dog picking against the dog. Yep. Texas Tech beating number 21 Colorado, shattering the dreams of a few of those social media sensations. Texas Tech plus 140 in Lubbock, Texas. Also, I've got a little bonus parlay I've thrown together. A money line underdog parlay. Rutgers, Texas Tech, and Missouri plus 1466 to all win outright. I like that one. Rutgers, Texas Tech, Missouri, all three just win straight up plus 1466. Little bonus money line parlay.
There we go.
So that's going to close out week 11. Ball State's on here in a little bit. Probably the most important thing going on tonight, Ball State versus Miami of Ohio. So we'll obviously all be tuned into that. Any thoughts, Reese?
Chirp, chirp. That's all I got to say.
Let's see if Mike New can survive one more week.
New in the shoe, baby. Let's go.
All right. So for Reese Downing, I am Jacob Portman. That is NCAA week 11 of the Tuesday Night Touchdown podcast. Check out our NFL episodes, like, share, subscribe, leave comments. Carter, I did see the comments you left a few weeks ago. There's a guy, speaking of comments in the NFL one, that really talks shit in the comments about my Saints prediction. I'm going to go back and make sure I comment on his. Seeing how they have a coach fired already and they're shitty. They have nothing. They got players' dads talking shit about their quarterback. Like
Lattimore's gone now.
Yeah. I think that Saints prediction might have been pretty good there, wise ass. So we will
save that juice for the NFL episode, man.
We'll be back with the NFL episode. So that is it. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one, everyone.
Cheers, guys.